Greetings to you. Welcome specially to the Engineer Construction Lecture Hub, always a platform where you get insightful content as regards to construction. All right, so today we are going to look at a very interesting topic, and the topic for today is reasons for underpinning. All right, reasons for underpinning. Now, I want you to understand that underpinning basically is a process, okay, that is designed primarily to strengthen the weak foundation, okay, to strengthen a structure that is weak substructurally. All right, when a structure is weak substructurally, it means that it cannot be able to sustain the gravity load. All right, it means that that substructure, the foundation, is weak. So the remedial actions to be taken is what we refer to as underpinning. So we want to look at the reasons for underpinning. Now, the first is uneven settlement of foundation. Now, uneven settlement of foundation basically is referring to differential settlement, that occurs in our building. First and foremost, it will manifest, it will emanate from the substructure, then manifest in the superstructure. All right, so uneven settlement is a situation whereby due to maybe one or two reasons, maybe the nature of the soil or some external factors, maybe vibratory effect, from a nearby vibrating object, all right, that can result to uneven settlement in that structure. All right, the uneven settlement here is the structure will tend to, some part of that structure will tend to, move downward, sliding downward, leaving behind the other part. And when that happens, it brings about formation of cracks on the superstructure. All right, so when you have such a situation, there is need to do underpinning, basically to now limit the movement of the movement of the slided part. You need to get a kind of strengthen that section to limit that movement that results to the formation of cracks as a result of uneven settlement. So why we do underpinning is in the case of uneven settlement of foundation. All right, then the next is uneven loading of foundation. Now I want you to understand that sometimes we do our loading without maintaining equilibrium. Equilibrium in this context is balance. We must ensure that our structures are balanced. Now, once our structures are balanced, you see that the systematic pathway for the load transfer will be enhanced. All right, so when in a situation whereby the load is uneven, that means the foundation will have issues. When that problems emanate in our foundation as a result of uneven loading of foundation, it can be repaired, or the remedial actions to be taken is underpinning. All right, so that is the second. Then the third, uneven resistance of subsoil water. Now, you know that water has a great impact on the behavioral pattern of our soil, okay, because our soil receives this load, okay. In a situation whereby the resistance to this subsoil water is not sufficient enough, definitely there will be form of sliding and all of that, okay. So that is also reasons for underpinning. When such happens, when the resistance is not there, okay, or is limited, that means that structure requires underpinning. All right, so the next is action of tree roots to our foundation. Now, most times we usually neglect this aspect. We usually neglect tree roots. But I want you to understand that tree roots have some penetrative tendencies. All right, because we have different species of trees. All right, there are some trees that the roots travels a very long distance. There are some trees, the roots have that penetrative effect on our substructure. So we must look at that kind of scenario when we have trees that the root penetrates our substructure, automatically when that happens, it has weakened that substructure, it has weakened that foundation. So the only way to remedify that situation is by doing underpinning. You do underpinning to correct that abnormalities, in the substructure. Then settlement of cohesive soil. Now, cohesive soil are more of those soils, that are compressible. Okay, those soils that have high level of impermeability. All right, they can store water, they can swell, they can shrink. More of example of this is the clay soil. All right, when clay soil settles, definitely it will manifest on our substructure or on our superstructure. All right, so when that happens, then definitely you have to correct that situation by underpinning. Now, underpinning is basically to now create a new arrangement of foundation, okay, that will be below the existing one. So there will be a transfer, okay, of the load from the old foundation to the new foundation. Basically, that is what underpinning is all about, and that can also be adopted when the settlement of cohesive soil, because of the seasonal variations, the swelling and the shrinking of clay soil, it have a direct impact on our structure. Okay, so the last is deterioration of foundation concrete. Now, most times you see that the concrete covers we provide for our foundations are not sufficient enough. Now, this concrete covers basically is observed in order to protect our reinforcement. Now, peradventure, there are a form of deterioration in our foundation, that is in the reinforcement and other, maybe concrete per se. All right, there is need to correct it, over time, and that can be corrected by underpinning. All right, you can do underpinning to correct a foundation that has deteriorated. All right, so basically these are the reasons, some of the reasons for underpinning. So I deem it necessary to bring this our way so we can, we can be abreast with these conditions, all right, that requires underpinning, that will lead to underpinning as a remedial action. All right, so I will stop here. Thank you very much for your time and have a blessed day. Bye.